Well, good evening, everyone. Sorry, this particular stream has taken a little bit to get to. I wanted to make sure I've had all of the video organized. I wanted to make sure that I had enough time that I could basically sit here, devote enough time to it, and do it correctly. And here we are. So first off, thank you for joining. If you're on YouTube, thank you, X. I'm going to be monitoring chat on X, but primarily paying attention to here on YouTube. First off, chat, let me know, do we have good audio? Someone let me know, do we have good audio? Perfect. I think we're good. If it is starting to mess up, just let me know and I'll adjust it. Sometimes I get a little excited and I don't want to like buzz the tower. Perfect. Thank you all. Okay. How am I going to outline this? What's my structure moving forward? What's the point of this? First off, the point is tonight I am going to focus purely on the UVU review footage and the Adam Bartholomew footage. Okay. From there, we're going to, on a down the road episode, like here, this is going to go boom, boom, boom in succession because I do not like the direction that things are going with some of these big accounts that have had our attention for the last, I don't know, 100 and some odd days. I do not like the direction. I do not like the focus. I feel like things have gone so far away from UVU. So I'm going to do something about it because guess what? I can stream too. So we are going to focus right here, right now on this. I will get to your messages kind of as we go. I'm going to be watching for any of the ones that just kind of jump out to me. But primarily, this video, I hope at some point, or this live stream, I hope ends up on the computer screen of Tyler Robinson's defense team. Okay. I've tried phone calls. I have tried now an email. Send it to their, I think they've got a couple of mailboxes that are monitored, letting them know that, number one, I would like to offer up my entire video collection to them for Tyler's defense, but also go through my theory. And it's actually, I mean, it's legit. Like you're about to see. This would be what I would literally be saying to Tyler Robinson's attorneys should I be on the phone with them or we're on a Zoom meeting together. Okay, this is it right here. I'm just going to pretend that all of you guys are Catherine Nestor and her staff, her team, and we're just going to go at it. So today we're just going to focus on two videos primarily. Then we're going to back up in a future episode, probably tomorrow, starting at the early, going through the PC affidavit, going through the charging document, going through the issues they have, video, things of that nature that do not align, things that do not make sense, Governor Cox, all of that. Then we'll jump back, depending on how much feedback I get on this video, we might jump back into it, clean up anything that has been confusion, and then we're going to go afterwards, like the cover up. Okay. But tonight is just dedicated to that, that big chunk, and I've got it blocked off. It's a 30-minute, 15-second video. And let me just go ahead and show you guys what I did. And what this is just an album I made just for this show. But basically, I put together 2 videos, and I'm going to scoot through here because I do not, even though I have it blurred out on the part because I am hypersensitive to the fact of being on Barron's podcast, being on Gary Milton's podcast, being on Mr. Let Go's. I actually accidentally put up a video and I was sharing a screen to Mr. Let Go, and I didn't realize that YouTube was the way they were. So I have all of that blurred out. If there's a bot listening to me, it's all blurred out, but I still am going to jump over it, just those little seconds there. But basically, in a nutshell, I have it nailed down right here. Okay, so after everyone is running and the UVU review video cuts, okay, I then go right into Adam Bartholomew's video, and I have it where it picks right up, but we've got a clock to demonstrate the time that has elapsed since the explosion, okay? This is important because it's going to really provide a good, clean, clear context to the time that's elapsed and what all of these people are doing. All of these people meaning Turning Point people, security staff, and also UVU PD, or I don't know who these people are. There's a lot more people that are there in an official capacity than I think a lot of people realize, okay? So we'll come back to this. I'm going to jump over, or actually let me go back real quick to, look, all of this is predicated on the simple fact that there was not a 30-06 rifle with 30-06 cartridge, okay, not a rifle with that cartridge fired from the top of the Losi building. Did not happen. Did not happen, okay? That is the sole reason why the FBI or the state of Utah, they only put out the video of the roof beginning at 12/23/34. Okay. The in-your-face reason is because they don't want you to see what all's going down up on the roof. Even though the entire roof is in view. Okay, this was what put me on the map with Ryan Matta. Gained like 20,000 followers in one night, okay? And then I just kept going. There is a reason that they decided that the public needed to start watching from 12/23/34, okay? We'll explore that, okay? But back to the elephant in the room. It wasn't a rifle, okay? If you're following me, I have not mixed any words. I have not flip-flopped on any issues. I have always been in the side or the camp that something exploded underneath his t-shirt. Now, that's a very complex thing whenever you begin to start to articulate into words exactly what you think happened, when you really do not know explosives like at all, but you also have a brain and you can see what's happening and you can slow things down and you can just see all of this happening. So that was back in September. We've come a whole lot further down the road with someone that knows what they're talking about and people. And let's just say it's about to get exciting because, yes, John Bray has been wonderful. John, super smart. There are other people that are about to come forward that know just as much, if not more, than what John Bray does. Okay, this is not just some isolated to John Bray type of expertise. There have been people that have been silently just kind of sitting on their hands because this is clearly a tumultuous situation. Because let's face it, we all remember the fireworks in Phoenix. Okay, like we all remember who was there. We remember who went to the White House. We remember all of this stuff. So it's very tumultuous. That might be understatement of the year so far, and there's been a few understatements. I think I just keep outdoing myself as the days go by. But it's tumultuous, and I understand it. This is not good at all for specifically the security team. But we'll get into it. So what's it predicated on? The microphone. Okay, that has been a major source of issue with a lot of people, not just me and John, or Baron and Ian. Like, it's been a source of a lot of head scratching because it does not do things properly. Okay, so the one thing that I've noticed here of late is the fact that there's been, is it a Rode 2 microphone? Is it not? Is it something like this DJI wireless? This is the first generation of it. But I'm just going to stop and say that this microphone, this is not a Rode 2 Go wireless mic. I actually have those at home. They're kind of like my backups. They are, in my opinion, they're not as good as the DJI set. But this right here that's in Philip's hand is not a square, a thin square, like what the DJI Go 2 is. We really need to look at this, and I really hope that I can get in touch with John. We're scheduled for a Thursday debate, and I understand that he's got a 3D print ready to go. But I'm just saying to everyone right now, and I really want to visit with John because this thing underneath his shirt is a hell of a lot bigger than the little DJI Go 2. Okay. I'm not doubting that Charlie has worn that in the past. We can easily go and find his past debates, and his shirt is laying a lot cleaner on his body with what seems to be a square. But this is not a square. This is a piece of rectangular device. This is a rectangular device that's oblong. Like, it's not the DJI Go 2. So I really want to visit with John about this and see if we can explore some other options. Now, here's the deal. I'm not disputing the fact that we can see the Rode logo on the outside. I am not disputing that so here's this is how this works. You just have a magnet clasp. Okay. It's a strong magnet. I'm not disputing that the outside of the magnet, because it clearly shows the Rode. It's so hard to get off. It's so strong. The Rode logo appears on the outside of Charlie's shirt. Okay. We have that in the photos that were uploaded to Charles McClintock Wilson's website. Maybe that was by design. I tend to think that's probably what it was, to throw everyone off, because quite frankly, why would anybody think it's anything other than a Rode mic if it has the logo on the outside? Because you're not seeing what's really going on the inside, and we haven't. Okay, I understand that Andrew Ferrasi said that he picked up a Rode 2 Go mic, and look, I dabble in this stuff. I enjoy it, just like I think Andrew is the same way, except he's a lot better photographer than I am. But as inexpensive as those, as inexpensive as those Rode Go 2 mics are, I'm talking like you can get a 3-pack for like $60. I have I have like 5, just in case. Number one, they can all match up to a singular source. So if you have multiple people that need to be mic'd up, they're great. Okay. The DJI, these just come with 2. Okay. So anyways, I'm not doubting, because I think Andrew said that he picked up a microphone over there on the table, but it's not outside the realm of possibility that they just had multiple mics there laid out, maybe for that purpose alone. Just if shit were to hit the fan, they've got someone that's just a bystander, freelance photographer that was hired on, and hey, look what he's doing. He's sitting here providing credibility to the fact that they had a Rode 2 there, and that ain't it. Okay. So we'll get into it, but first things first, let's just dive into the UVU review recording. Okay. So this picks up at 12:13 p.m. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to let it play. I'll hit pause whenever something I feel like is important to talk about. I'll be looking at chats, and we will go through this just boom, boom, boom. Okay? I think that's the best way to do it. Can y'all hear that okay? That's actually funny, because I have gotten that a lot. Yeah, I have gotten that. I look like, is it Aaron Paul? Thank you for the super chat, Kim Brown. Okay. First off, the theme that I want everyone to really, really concentrate on here early on is all of these people that are working in the AV department. This bearded guy right here. We've got Philip Goldsberry right here. Terrell is overdoing stuff. Pay attention to the audio issues right off the bat, okay? Because there are things that are way off. And right off the bat, the big boy with the beard goes underneath the table where he starts to fiddle with something. Also, I want to add, I believe that the college kid that was manning this tripod camcorder, it's a nice Sony on a tripod with an external microphone. You can see here for the first couple of minutes, he's messing, or the camera's shaking. I think he is trying to get the microphone to work. He believes it's either not plugged in or it's not picking up something adequately. but this particular camera is upstairs, and you can see the angle we're looking at Charlie. So this is upstairs where there's other spectators, okay, overlooking the entire crowd, okay? So that's why the audio is a little weird here early on, is because the student is messing with the external microphone, okay?
Discussion. Mormons, by the way, I love how Mormons have more kids than they can afford. I think it's time for Mormons. You gotta get your mojo back. No more of this LGBT stuff. We need a strong Mormon church back in this country, right? Right there. Let me just continue. I love how Mormons send missionaries around the world. I love how polite you are. I have my team as Mormon. Carol's a Mormon. Andrew's a Mormon. Mormons are great people. So everything I say, everybody, I'm an evangelical Christian. We're going to have fun with this, but I'm not one of those guys that hates on Mormons or calls names on Mormons. All right? What evidence do you have for that claim?
Someone yelled, "Turn it up." See, Charlie looked over to Philip and said, "Hey, turn it up.
Yeah, this isn't.
They can't hear."
You got it, Jimmy. Okay.
Okay, where's the archaeological evidence for the defense? No, answer the question. Where is the
Less than 1% has been excavated in America, specifically in Central America and all that stuff, where some of this is mostly claimed to happen. We have a lot of archaeological stuff, studies and stuff like that that happen in the villages, which is what we don't want to do.
right? So, without kind of the word salad, where is the evidence? Where are the there's nothing, right? Yeah. Where's the evidence for the land?
Yeah, I'm saying
No, hold on. You said evidence. You said that you think that LDS has more evidence. I just named two critical parts of the evidence. Let me finish, not interrupting. And there's no evidence for either. Where are the golden tablets? How many of the people who originally followed Joseph Smith continue to follow him throughout of the 11 that saw the golden tablets? Hold on, 5 out of the 11 stopped following him.
Okay, I'm going to pause it right quick. I want everyone to really pay attention to Terrell Farnsworth. This is Terrell. He has the nickname of SD Card Farnsworth. Okay. He also has a mountain named after his family. There's a Mount Farnsworth that's right around the corner there. So he's big deal. Okay. He's a big deal, especially there in those neck of the woods there. His energy, their nervousness is, I mean, it's just plain as day, y'all. There is a tense situation unfolding, and it has a lot to do with the audio. Okay. Pay attention to the people that are on their phone. Okay. So we got Terrell on his phone. He's back and forth with Philip. We have Brad Pitt aspires to the level of badassery and awesomeness that Mikey McCoy exudes. Okay. I'm talking not older Brad Pitt. I'm talking Fight Club Brad Pitt. Fight Club Brad Pitt looks at Mikey McCoy and just drools because Mikey exudes that kind of badassery. He's spectacular. He's in the white long sleeve with the backpack on. Okay, that's Charlie's chief of staff. Pay attention to everybody, their communication with their phones and their looks. Because despite what badass Pastor Rob McCoy says at the pulpit, all of these looks and hand signals, they are related, okay? You're not going to guilt us from the pulpit for thinking it because we know it now, okay? So pay attention to that. I'll pause it here at 5:11, at the 5:11 mark. Y'all see them all?
Hold on. When you resurrect from the dead,
That ain't Dan Flood texting baby mama at home. Hey, what you wearing, girl?
Muhammad did not rise from the dead. Muhammad was a time molesting, non-monogamy king.
He's trying to get his attention. Watch Dan.
Here comes the scripture. Muhammad did not rise from the dead. Muhammad was a child molesting, non-monogamy king.
So we're going to take that into account. We got Romulus, who's supposedly resurrected. We got Apollonius of Theana, who Eusebius talks about, who we are Jesus, almost effectively in the first century, who preached a lot
Carol's
of
shaking
things,
his head.
live after the
Something's off.
worship God, who's referred to
Something's messed up.
some God, one of a virgin, born with
Romulus resurrected. What were you talking about?
Romulus was descended into that tradition.
What Christian tradition is that?
Okay. So we just cruised right over it. And actually, it is when the camera person, the camera operator, the college student, he pans out. Whoops. He pans out. And the first thing that we see at 5 minutes, 12 seconds is Brian Harpole right here in this front right pocket. Okay. I want everyone at wherever you are watching this to just keep an eye on the front right pocket. Okay. Because this is the hand, the right hand in the right pocket. Weird things happen when he goes into that pocket. Okay. And then really, really bad things happen when that hand goes up underneath his arm, but we'll get there. Okay. But this is where this is the first instance of Brian inside that pocket. And I want you all to pay attention to this. He does this move. A number of times. He's concerned about wires possibly showing under his shirt. Okay. Plain and simple. It's a super conscious thing because he does not, even though we can see it, and I'll point it out here in a moment, that's the reason why. He does not want wires being seen because he does not want, well, I guess he doesn't want what we're doing here on January the 13th, picking this shit out. That's just my guess. Okay, so let me back out, and I'm going to hit play.
What Christian tradition is that? No, there's not Christianity. Where's the Christian belief or evidence?
It's a picking and choosing.
No, it's not. I'm saying that Jesus Christ is Lord. Jesus Christ being Lord, he established.
Okay. People resurrect.
I think you're interrupting a little too much. Okay. So again, we have just theological differences. Galatians 1. When you can go to Galatians 1, it says, what is it? It says, even if an angel comes to you and says that it adds to the gospel, do not believe the angel. So, didn't Paul warn about potential angels coming in?
Tell me the context of Galatians 1. Who Paul and Barnabas became politicians
The Church of Galatia,
No, who they specifically are confronting?
heresies in the Church of the Time.
Church, right?
Okay, right here, this kid's hat or his head is in the way. At this moment, I believe Brian Harpole is anticipating that Henry Dell, this is Henry Dell right here at the microphone. Brian is anticipating Henry is finishing up. So he goes in to his pocket to what I believe is ultimately begin a sequence. Okay. He does something. You just saw it in his with his right hand. I'll back it up a little bit and play it again.
Specifically confronting.
Heresies in the Church.
We'll go right.
Potential angels coming in.
Tell me the context of Galatians 1. Who Paul and Barnabas became politicians
The
Right
Church
there.
of Galatia,
No, who they specifically are confronting?
heresies in the Church of the Time.
At the same time, I want you to notice this. Philip is on an earpiece now, and he is listening to somebody, what I believe is somebody that's in another place, another controller. Someone is in his ear telling him something, because watch what happens. When Brian goes to do this, watch what happens with Philip.
Okay, so I'll tell you, because apparently there's Bible content. So Paul is commissioned to Judaizers and are teaching circumcision. Paul has taught that circumcision is no longer necessary. So he came and said, well, basically the Judaizers said, go and confront Peter, James, and John in Jerusalem on this matter, which they did at the Council of Jerusalem. So here's the thing.
Look,
So is Paul teaching about an angel?
no, guys, look, we just have a different worldview. I believe the Word of God is complete. I do not believe that God, the Father, the Spirit, and the Son are separate. I believe they are one in the Trinity. And I would like to use our valuable time with our wonderful
Right there.
LDS friends.
Okay, did y'all start to hear that feedback? There's a ringing at that very moment. This is when Philip goes, it's not good. It's not good. Watch it again. I went back too far.
So is Paul teaching about an angel?
No, guys, look, we just have a different worldview. I believe the Word of God is complete. I do not believe that God, the Father, the Spirit, and the Son are separate. I believe they are one in the Trinity. And I would like to use our valuable time with our wonderful LDS friends.
Okay, right there. This is what made me back, I think it was middle of December. I missed this, okay? And it was when all the Fort Huachuca stuff started coming out, okay? And I started going back and I was wanting to watch Brian Harpole. And lo and behold, it just takes a little bit of like picking up on all of these things happening. But Philip Goldsberry gives it all away right here, okay? Watch it again.
And I would like to use our valuable time with our wonderful LDS.
He looks over at Dan Flood, and Dan Flood's looking at him. And I believe there's somebody communicating with Philip, but Philip takes his index finger and he looks at Dan and he does this real quick. That is the universal signal that we got some major issues with our audio. Okay. Okay. The audio's messed up, Blake. What does that mean? What's going on? Like, what is? There is absolutely zero reason for Philip Goldsberry, who is a vendor that provides AV services to the American Comeback Tour and the Prove Me Wrong and other things. I mean, they've been there for, I think, years. There's no reason that Philip is looking over at Dan in that manner, in that way, or just even telling him that he's got something wrong. Dan being the security guy, that's a Marine, ex-Marine, there's zero reason for that. Okay. Other than the fact that they've got stuff going on with the two teams, the AV team and the security team, that they're working on some sort of common thing here, because there is no reason for this. Okay. This was what was the first red flag right here. Okay. Now watch what happens. Okay. Brian is over here, and just like last night and today on multiple people's, some of these big, Truth for Charlie Crusader accounts, the easy write-off is, oh, Brian's messing with his radio. That's what Blake thinks it is. It's his radio. No, his radio is on the opposite side of his body, and it has a single wire that goes right to his earpiece. Okay, watch it again. So back it up. We're going to watch it live as it happens. The other thing, I want you to notice how Brian Harpole's hands are right here, okay? And I would like for you to do this as well. You see how his hands are crossed? I do this all the time. See this hand? This hand's open. See this hand? This hand's open, okay? You have to have your hands open because it's got to be able to grab a hold here. Okay, this is the comfortable way of doing it. That's how Brian is right here. That's how Brian is in all the past events. This is a common pose for Brian at one of these events. Keep this in your mind, and I'll point it out here in a little bit. Okay.
So he came and said, well, basically the Judaizers said, go and confront Peter, James, and John in Jerusalem on this matter, which they did at the Council of Jerusalem. So here's the thing.
Look,
Paul teaching about it.
Look, we just have a different worldview. I believe the Word of God is complete. I do not believe that God, the Spirit, and the Son are separate. I believe they are one in the Trinity. And I would like to use our valuable time with our wonderful LDS friends. And again, I would just ask you, as you continue your journey of faith, show me the core evidence of what.
At that very moment, Philip does this, looks at Dan. Dan gets on his microphone. Okay. Hey, Brian, get the fuck over here.
You believe what you believe, specifically archaeologically, and I think that's an important thing you need to pray about. You can ask one last question, but I think the further we go down this, the audience gets more and more the impression I'm against LDS, which I'm really not.
No, you're good,
so
you're good.
I don't want to spend too much time on that because I think other scholars might be.
Did y'all see that? That's not his radio. That is something else. That is something else that is what Philip looked over to Dan and did this for, and he calls Brian over. Brian gets, there's like, it's right here, and he's like twisting it. It's plain as day. It has nothing to do with his radio. His radio is over here on this hip. This is something else in his front right pocket. And I just want you to watch this look again.
I would just ask you, as you continue your journey of faith, show me the core evidence of why you believe what you believe,
Dan's like,
specifically archaeologically, and I think that's an important thing you need to pray about. You can ask one last question, but I think the further we go down this, the audience gets more and more the impression I'm against LDS, which I'm really not.
No,
So
this right here is, you stupid motherfuckers. Because They just had Brian walk up to the stage where every camera's focused, and Dan tells him, dude, you got to turn it off. The audio is messing up. And this is Brian looking over at him because he knows what just happened.
I don't want to spend.
You see that look? I'm telling you what, I mean, if he could run across through there and tackle one of them, I guarantee you, he would whoop the shit out of Terrell Farnsworth. Terrell Farnsworth would get his ass beat in this moment. If the crowd was not there, Brian would lay it down on him because that literally just screwed the pooch on this whole deal. Because not only did it connect this with Dan, he calls him over and he's got to do it in front of everybody. I don't care what there is absolutely zero excuse for what we just saw. There is nothing plausible. None of these dudes have any sort of AV. Dan and Brian do not have a part-time DJ gig back in Dallas where they're like, oomph, 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 and they're like, they're doing the whole like glow stick. No, they don't do that part-time. These are not that kind of guys. They don't know shit about that stuff. And there is absolutely nothing that these dudes should have on their bodies that's messing with these 4 speakers at all, other than the fact of there's something else, something nefarious, period. All right.
Much time on that because I think other scholars might be.
What did you say that the fundamental claim of Christianity is on the basis of the death, burial, and resurrection of Christ?
In addition to the creation of the world.
In the creation of Christ, so are those objectionable things you can prove with
Yes.
empirical evidence?
Yes.
How?
Well,
Okay. So this right here, I believe, is Chrissy Pacheco. Okay. I believe that's her name because Brian Harpole actually identifies her as that on the Sean Ryan show. Okay. And that moment is telling because Sean Ryan charges him up. I'm going to do a totally dedicated show to the Sean Ryan interview because I feel like there's a lot of things that have been left off that just need to be brought up. So I'm like, we'll do it at some point. But Sean asked him, Sean's like, hey, Brian, what's in, what he didn't ask about this situation here because Sean did not, or Jeremy, his producer, did not have this moment teed up on the TV as Brian is sitting there at the bar, but it's when she comes back. Okay. This is my hypothesis. I believe that she was the reason for Brian to either A, go into his pocket, which is what happens whenever she brings back something. But I believe this is just creating not Baron did a great monologue when I went on his show actually about how magicians do magic tricks. And if you're looking somewhere or there's a lot of busyness going on with people doing weird shit, the eye has a hard time keeping up with it. Okay. Now, do I think that Chrissy Pacheco is something to do with like the magic? No, I believe that she is just creating a reason for Brian to go into his pocket, or when she walks back is whenever he goes into his pocket. What he could be giving her, I have no clue. I believe he's got first aid in that man purse he carries. But at the same rate, you have to think about this. Brian is the head of Integrity, the contracted security team. Okay. He's already rolling with 4 or 5 extra guys. So they've got a team of 13, I believe. Why would Chrissy, who just does, I think Brian said, oh, she brings us the little packets and stuff. Why would Chrissy be walking right out in front of the crowd to where Brian is doing his job right now. I mean, he's being a security guy for Charlie and the leader of his team. Why would she go to Brian with all of this stuff, like right smack dab at the beginning of an event? Makes no sense, right? If she needs like a Band-Aid or something, all of the EMTs are right back here. Their bags, and there's like 5 of them. They're all standing right here. So it really does not make a lick of sense logically why she's coming out to Brian, other than the fact that she's there just to create kind of a diversionary type, like just making it just kind of strange, right? He's pulling stuff out, and you're not necessarily just focused in on him messing with the device in his pocket, right? That's what I think. Okay. I've got my notes here. I don't want to miss or slide over one. Okay. We passed the 822. Nope, 822 is coming right up. Okay.
52. The over 500 witnesses that saw the resurrected Jesus. Let me finish. The Apostle Paul, the Gospel of Luke, the female witnesses, which if you're going to make up the resurrection, you wouldn't use female witnesses. Even external biblical evidence, such as Josephus and the Talmud, even acknowledge that early followers of Christianity, they believe in the resurrected Christ. The 41 creeds of the early believers that are incorporated in the New Testament that talked about the resurrected Christ, not to mention 1 Corinthians 5 and 15. So that's all pretty amazing evidence, not just intra-biblical evidence, but extra-biblical evidence that Jesus Christ was a real person. He lived a perfect life. He was crucified, died, and rose on the 3rd day, and he is Lord and God over all.
How many people are on their phone right here at this very moment? 1. This guy doesn't count. This guy's a clown. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's looking at the control screen here, and Terrell just put his phone up. 5.
I don't think you know the consensus of scholars.
Well, hold on. Josephus was a non-Christian scholar. Well, he was a Roman Jewish scholar.
Not a Christian.
Right, that's the point, is that the audience I found.
Okay, what I believe is happening right now is this. It's go time, okay? They know that Henry Dell, they being all of the security team, they know Henry Dell is wrapping up, okay? And they know that this guy right here, Hunter Kozak, is next. And Hunter Kozak is their guy that's going to be asking the magic question, okay? Do you see right now that Brian is anticipating once again, because he knows that Charlie is wrapping up with Henry Dell, okay? He can tell by the way that everyone's like, move on, move on. So what is Brian doing? Brian is back in his pocket, and he is, what I believe, rearming, re-engaging the device, okay? Because it's now go time. And what I believe is that basically they're just going to ride with whatever audio issues there are, because it might be a big time feedback. There might be a lot of humming and buzzing, but they're just going to go with it. It is what it is. Okay. So at this moment, we are, let's see, 8:46, 22:05. We are a minute. Where did my notes go? I believe we're a minute 23 to the boom. It's fast, okay? But just watch this right here.
God bless you. I love doing this. Thank you so much.
I'll do it again.
That's the point, is that Christian scholar, Well, he was a Roman Jewish scholar.
Not a Christian.
Right, that's the point, is that the audience I think wants you to run. God bless you, I love Romans. Thank you so much.
Okay. So he just went in and did it again. Now it's ready to go.
Hello.
Hi. Yeah, this is working. Hey, Charlie. Hey, hopefully we're gonna have a little bit more disagreement. All right. Hi. Yeah. So just wanted to a few weeks ago.
Okay. Terrell says, get the handheld mic away from your body. I believe there is something going on that's close to Charlie's body that handheld microphone is picking up some crazy shit, okay? I'm not an AV guy. I am just pointing out the obvious. I don't know what this is. If you are watching this and you know somebody that deals with this kind of stuff, audio, like what this feedback, with all of this and what we know happened, get in touch with me, okay? I don't know what this is other than the fact it has to do with what is on Charlie's body that is armed that Brian Harpole just messed with again, okay? So if you know somebody, please get them in touch with me that is an audio guru, okay? So that is the answer, because they know that it's not going to be that long that they have to endure that feedback problem. So Terrell just says, push the microphone away. That's what he just did. And as you can see, Brian is, he's over here getting it ready, or he just turned it. I want you to watch how he puts his hands back crisscrossed. Okay, here we go. The cord, I think everybody can see it.
So just wanted to, a few weeks ago.
Do y'all see the outline of the cord? And all of this is on my Twitter page. So, I mean, I've got screenshots of all of this with notes on how much time has elapsed, how much time is the countdown, to the explosion, what the time of day is. I mean, all of it. So it's all on my X page, and I'll post it underneath. I just can't I have to watch what I do on YouTube. So anyways, here's the wirings. This is why he's so concerned about always pulling his shirt out, because he doesn't want what's happening where we can see it. Okay. And watch Magnificent McCoy, Philip, and Terrell.
All right, great. All right. A few weeks ago, there was a transgender mass shooter. And ever since then, about 3 weeks later, the Trump DOJ said that we should start talking about revoking gun rights for transgender Americans.
Okay. Go back to your pose here, and I want you to get your right hand, and I want you to ball it up in a fist, and I want you to do this, where right here, you're going to pretend that there's something. This is not a natural way of crossing your arms. It's just not. It's uncomfortable because you have to engage your biceps, and it's just not like a relaxing where if your fingers are out, it's a whole nother deal. If you're balled up here, it's because you've got something in your hand, or in this case, there's something under his shirt that is right here that he's going to squeeze. Okay? I've gone back and looked at all this stuff. His hand, no one does this. your fingers are out, okay? Like, it's just what's comfortable. This makes no sense on the surface, okay?
I think it's important to say yes, 70%. All right, great. So, do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years? Too many.
All right. Did y'all see what Hunter Kozak just did? Okay. And I'll show you the video here in a second. I'm going to run through this. But Hunter Kozak is right here in front of Charlie. This is the dialogue right here, okay? For some reason, Hunter Kozak looks over to his left and he signals as he's looking at Brian Harpole that he pretends to touch his glasses and he goes back down and he looks back to Charlie. Y'all, this is the signal that I'm about to ask the trigger question that's going to help this entire batshit craziness behind me on the roof and over in the forest and the furry back in Washington. This is the whole thing. It's all predicated on this. Here's the question of the trans gun person that they're supposedly going to hear 140 yards away. This is the question that sets up the entire baloney that district attorney, that the FBI, they all started to feed us. It's not even baloney. I don't even want to give. I mean, that's being disrespectful to baloney. I would say Vienna sausages. It's not even Vienna sausages. Like, it is just shit. This is it. Hey, here's the magic question. I'm about to ask it. Get your hand ready. We'll watch it again.
Yes, 70%. All right, great. So, do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years? Too many. It's 5. Okay, now 5 is a lot, right? I'm going to give you some credit. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years? Counting.
Okay, even though it's blurred out, I really don't want YouTube to mess with me, but I think you all understand how this whole thing just rapidly progressed. We're talking within a matter of a few minutes where it's armed, disarmed, then armed again, and then a minute and 28 seconds later, after it's armed, Hunter is there questioning. He looks over, and quite frankly, it's within a matter of, I think, 5 seconds under his armpit, 12:23, 16, 14 seconds. Hunter looks over, gives the signal. Brian is already in position. And yes, Brian moves out of the frame here, but guess what? I got other angles. Okay. There was a lot of people videoing that day, and we have it. Okay. We have it. So 14 seconds. Hey, get ready. And then Dan is commanding everybody to steal third. Okay. He does this. Okay. What is he doing? I believe he is the coordinated person that all of the people that are supposed to be assigned to do weird things, they're watching him to know to do their weird thing. Okay. Case in point, Cutler right here. Okay. Doing the thing with his hand. You've got Minivan Man back over here. He's got his hands up here doing this. Okay. You've got other people all around there doing weird things. Why? I wonder if maybe if shit hits the fan, we want to inject as much crazy confusion into the situation as possible, so that if we do begin to lose track of the narrative, we can inject people with this crazy palm gun theory. And then all of a sudden you've got people that it's like a mosquito, and you've got some smart mosquitoes over here that are like, no, fuck that neon thing. I know what that is. Like, no, I know what this is. Hey, there's a few bodies right over here. I'm going to go with the few bodies. I mean, even though that light it actually looks good, but also that fat ass right there looks good. I'm going to go to that fat ass. That fat ass is what we know and we see with Brian Harpole and what he's doing. The neon light over here is like the palm gun, batshit craziness, like fucking a mosquito that it's a drone. Okay. And then all of a sudden, when they start losing control of that narrative, you got like a few mosquitoes over here. They're like, oh, palm gun, dragonfly, that's Palantir thing that's going to shoot something. And then all of a sudden you're like, damn, that fat ass looks, oh, but you know what? And then all of a sudden, where you're like flying for this fat ass, you start flying for that neon light instead. That's what this whole thing has been. There's people that are like, hey, and they're just, I mean, and it looks like it. It looks like he's doing something, Cutler's doing something weird. He's doing this just to create what has been created, and we're all sitting here watching. Like, that's been all of this mass confusion. If you inject enough confusion into like a platform, X is a good one to do it on. If you inject enough crazy theory, people's heads start to like short circuit. This goes back to the shit that Candace has talked about on her show with all of these people that are involved with Turning Point USA and their mind war games and things of that nature. Like, this is nothing new. Like, you're not confusing me, okay? Like, I'm going to that fat ass and I'm going to go get some blood out of that fat ass if I'm that mosquito. You're not going to confuse me. But literally, that's what we're playing with here. And that just came to my head. Sorry if it's a crude, bad example, but it just came to my head. But that's what it is. And people's brains do. You start to like question your sanity. You're like, oh my God. Oh my God. Like, and look, I understand that I cannot play what happens here. If you're on YouTube and if you just follow me on YouTube, please go to my X page and watch where I've slowed down everything that happens. Okay. I'm telling you, there are two mechanisms of like a gaseous looking vibration where, number one, the microphone starts right here by this clavicle and it shoots out over here to this clavicle. The thing, like the arm that's reaching out underneath his shirt, subsides, and then there's a little bubble right here at the neckline. And then all of a sudden you see another something discharge, okay? And that is when something is unloaded into Charlie's neck, okay? The wound is not present at all until all of this crazy shit happens. The necklace flies back. The microphone tries to take off, comes down, there's a bubble, and then injects. Boom. That is the first time you can see the wound. It is not a gunshot. I don't care what planet you're from. If you are sitting here like, oh, they've got a laser guided something behind over there, and it's firing across the lake, and it goes through the American comeback thing, and it does a, or I was watching this movie like with the Angelina Jolie and she could bend bullets around things. No, if you're that person, you are fucking working for somebody. Because There is no reason for all of this shit where it's happening underneath his shirt. There's no reason. And guess what? All bets are off because the 30-06 that they said, it's not working in the neck. I don't believe the neck was ever supposed to happen. I believe everything was supposed to have been contained underneath the shirt. And then he gets tackled by Dan Flood, right? And then it just looks like a chest wound. And guess what? We have absolutely nothing to compare it to. But I'm telling you, if you were to go right now and go talk to like somebody that writes graphic novels, like I don't know if Tom Clancy would be a good example. Anybody that does any sort of reporting and knows anything about guns and, hey, we're going to try and do spin this fictitious story. Hey, we're going to have it where a rifle that's shooting a 30-06 goes and just stops in this person's neck. They're going to absolutely, like, it's laughable because it's so far from reality, detached from reality, it's impossible. Okay. So at that very moment, you have to remember all of this other stuff is set in motion already. They've already got the patsy running. They've already got another crazy old man patsy ready to go in the crowd. I shot him. I'm George Zinn. Shoot me. They've already got probably the rifle over there sitting underneath the tree, ready to be found. It's not on the roof. They've got all this stuff set in motion. They have to go with it, right? So here we are. There's the signal, everybody doing weird things. I didn't really get into the stuff about Hunter early, but we'll do that on another episode of where he's practicing his reaction. It's identical. I've already got a video ready for his reaction. It's just scripted. This was all like they know each, like this was practice. They talked about this. And I believe that was real blood that came out of Charlie's neck. Okay. I think Charlie passed away, but I do not think a bullet is about to be fired here within a matter of a second. Okay. It's something else. Something else. Okay. How long have we been going? Okay. Tell you what. I am going to go right here. This is right before it goes down. Listen to the audio from another vantage point.
Hi, yeah, so just wanted to, a few weeks ago.
Okay. It is way more pronounced right here than it is back here on the second story. And gee, I wonder why. It's because they're right underneath the speaker, okay? So there is something that has to do with the speaker and a noise, and it really needs to be looked at if there was a fabricated gunshot that was all in sync with when Brian does the trigger, okay? It really needs to be looked at because, number one, there's a lot of people that are like, it does not sound like anything being shot from 140 yards away. It sounds like a lot of people talked about a firecracker. There's something played a humongous part with the audio, okay? And if you think about it, it makes perfect sense because if you don't have a gunshot, then you don't have 3,000 people saying they heard a gunshot. And then all of a sudden, the circle of suspects just got real small because who put some shit on Charlie that made his underneath his shirt explode? and it sounded like some sort of ordnance type of thing. The gunshot is the most important freaking thing. And I believe that's why it was so stressful for all of them, is because the audio was jacked up. And look, if the audio is blown, if they don't have the gunshot or something that's similar to a gunshot, if they don't have that, then their goose is cooked. They're done. Okay? Like, they don't last until January the 13th. Or whenever, I think this was December the 18th, actually. It's just that nobody is talking about this. I'm the only person. I'm the only person on this planet talking about this shit. So he's right under the speaker. It's definitely the speaker that's given off that weirdness. This is what I think it is, and why I think the speakers played a very important part to it.
I'm gonna bring it up for sure. What's that? Is that good? You want me to continue?
I mean, y'all see Brian in his pot. I mean, it's so plain as day right here on this video. He's like, oh shit. Like, I believe this is that moment where, like, you're strapped into the rocket and you're about to go up on the Falcon 9, and you've got like Elon over there in the booth, and it's like T-5. And they're like, oh shit, there's a little storm that's just about to come over the pad. And are we going to abort? Are we going to go to a pause on the countdown sequence? This is that moment right here with with Brian. He's like, oh shit, what are we doing? Are we go? Are we green? Houston, talk to me. And it's a go. It's a go.
What's that? Is that good? You want me to continue?
Watch his demeanor again.
For sure. What's that? Is that good? You want me to continue? All right, great.
All right. A few weeks ago, there was a transgender mass shooter. And ever since then, about 3 weeks later, the Trump DOJ said that we should start talking about revoking gun rights for transgender Americans. Now, I think you're in support of this decision. Yes, is that fair to say? All right, great. So, do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years?
Okay, at this moment, I'm going to pause it here, and we're going to go to another angle. We'll go to this angle right here.
Yeah, this is working. Hey, Charlie. Hey, hopefully we're going to have a little bit more disagreement. Got it. All right. Hi. Yeah. So just wanted to. A few weeks ago. All right. A few weeks ago, there was a transgender mass shooter. And ever since then, about 3 weeks later, the Trump DOJ said that we should start talking about revoking gun rights for transgender Americans. I think you're in support of this decision. Yes, is that fair to say? All right, great. Yeah. So, do you know how many transgender Americans have been?
Okay, so right here on this angle, Brian has his right hand. It's right here. I want you to watch. He's grabbing and he's getting. There is something probably taped or secured to his body, to his rib cage right here, and he's getting it in position. And then he's just going to be cool as a cucumber. And watch.
Mass shooters over the last 10 years?
Too many.
Okay.
There's his fingers starting to grab. Now, right here, I want you to watch both of their eyes connect. You see him look away? Watch it again. He knows exactly what time it is. They know that it's a And of course, I mean, Brian's not going to sit there and just be like, oh, you did the glasses thing. Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready. Everybody ready? Bomb's about to be exploded. Everybody ready? No, y'all. These are smooth operators, okay? So he's going to, of course, look away. I ain't looking at your glasses. I ain't looking at that signal. No, I'm going to look over here. That's what just happened. You want to watch it again? All right, let's do it.
Five. Okay, now 5 is a lot, right? I'm gonna give you some credit. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over?
Then Dan does all his cross checks. Look, it's like, all right, I ain't got the abort. Look over here. I ain't seeing anybody give me the board over here. Over here, we got Frank Turek doing his fake FaceTime thing. Oh, okay, cross checks are good. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, we're going to hell.
The last 10 years.
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
You did not see that. There's no blood. I stopped it. Okay. We'll do another. Where's that other angle? This is the biggest one. The only thing is, okay, you're going to have to find, there's the 2-minute, 41-second clip. It's looking right at Brian, and it's really hard to edit because Charlie is right in the line of path of the camera. And y'all, I don't want like for YouTube to like take this down or something. So I'm just going to tell you, go and look on my X page, since we're all in elementary school, on YouTube, and watch it. What I'm telling you is you can see his hand squeeze, and you can see the shirt shadows change. There's a shadow change on the shirt, and it's because he grabbed something, and it is at the very, very, very moment all shit hits the fan, okay? It's plain as day. I'm sorry. I wish it wasn't. I wish this was not true. I wish this is not just so black and white, drawing all these, like picking out exactly what happened, but it is, and it saddens me. It really does, because this is a tragedy. This is a tragedy that someone or a team of men signed up for this shit instead of saying, when someone came on, hey, we got this idea, and they didn't be like, get the fuck away from me. It's a shame. I don't think this one shows it. Okay. I've cut it down and aimed in at this. This is the angle that you can see the explode or the shrapnel or debris. There's like pieces flying away from Charlie, okay? Black pieces. There's a white piece that's going out, or it looks white, but it's firing away from Charlie. But I want to point your attention to this right here, okay? And this is Brian. He clenches his jaw, and everybody has seen this. He's got his right hand here, and the moment the blast happens, his first move is back, and he goes back into his pocket. There's nothing in his hand, and he is back in his pocket to turn off whatever that is. Okay? Whatever it is, he's got to turn it off before people put hands on Charlie. So he goes back into his pocket, and then he makes the V line for Charlie. Okay? You can see this on the other video plain as day, but it's real evident right here. So his right hand's right there. He goes back into his pocket. It's a quick turn, and bam. Then he runs. Totally just, it's plain as day. Okay. All right. 8:05. I think what we're going to do is, no, we'll just keep going. We're good. Everybody good? I'm going to get to some chats real quick before we get to the other side of things, okay? And that's where, like on this video, we've got the magical McCoy. Let me go back and then 50 seconds. Okay, we've all seen it, but in case you have not seen it, what happens is, Dan throws Charlie down, okay? Then Mikey, who's back there in the back with his white shirt, he's got the phone underneath his hand or in his hand. And that is where he goes right up it's under a second. Mikey's on the phone with somebody and he's retreating underneath the flag building, okay? There is, with his backpack, there is no rhyme or reason for that reaction. There's no rhyme or reason for any of their reactions at all. I've got it blurred out. I think I'm good. I'm going to just show right. Back it up just a few seconds. Right. Because this is actually very telling, okay? Okay. Did y'all see this guy right here? That is the Y Refi guy. That is the Y Refi guy. He's the sponsor of the tour. He's the guy who comes out and is like, hey, whenever you get out of school and you can't find a job to pay for this fucking expensive education and you can't make your payments, come to me and my company and we'll put you on a forever loan where you can pay it back. That's Y Refi, okay? Y Refi guy runs in like he's Batman and he shoves the shit out of a security guy. The young kid that's got his hair slicked back. Why is the Y Refi guy running in like he's a superhero? Not only that, why is the Y Refi guy shoving the shit out of a security guy as the security guy is trying to go and do his job and put a body on Charlie? And then not only that, but why does the Refi guy go right to Brian Harpole and when Brian does this, the Y Refi guy thinks Brian is about to hand him something. What in the hell could the Y Refi guy possibly be trying to grab out of Brian's hand in that just crazy panic moment? Explain that. Like, does the Y Refi guy moonlight with these people, these guys, and he's part of the... I mean, it becomes a fantastical story that makes no sense. But I'm telling you, the Y Refi guy right here before our eyes, and look, there's nothing in their hands. I have slowed this down. I've made this 20-second clip turn into 5 minutes. I have slowed it down that slow, okay? There's nothing in Brian's hand, okay? And so he grabs like he's grabbed, but there's nothing there. So then watch what happens. He goes in to his phone and either starts recording or I don't know. I don't know. None of them made phone calls to 911 as far as we know. Okay. So at this moment, let me go forward where the bots can't see it. Bam, bam, bam. Okay. All right. Right here. Charlie is in the black SUV in a matter of 40, 50 seconds. This was all scripted and they knew what they were doing. And they had to get Charlie out of there as soon as possible. It has nothing to do with the X or getting Charlie off the X. There was no threat on a roof. There was no threat in the audience. The threat was actually carrying Charlie to the SUV. But in order for this whole thing to be sold, they had to get him in the SUV and gone as soon as possible. Okay. And that's just it. Okay. I'm just going to roll with this here. Something that's really kind of strange to me is this guy right here. I don't know who this is. I have hunted for him. Look at all these people running in the opposite direction. Then here comes a dude, beard, heavy set dude, got a bandana on with a tripod and a bag, and he's got like I think he's got actually like a sandwich with him. But he's just walking up like, I mean, he's about to walk up to the park, and look at he's like asking this chick, right, what the hell are you ducking behind the statue for, hon? Like, what the hell is this? This is the craziest thing. I mean, it makes no sense. I'll show you him because he pops up here in a little bit talking to Butch Hicks.
There's been a shooting. We heard shots.
Here's the security guy. There's a drone.
You guys okay? Okay, love you. Be safe. Okay, be safe. Apparently there's been a shooting. I don't know who's been shot.
Drone looked like something flying.
We are here live at Utah Valley State University. There's been a shooting at the Charlie Kirk event, the TPUSA event. There has been a shooting. Everybody's evacuating.
Okay, so right here, this is George Zinn. Hey, it's me. I shot him. I tell you what. No, it's 8. We've been going long enough. We're going to do this tomorrow night. I want to do this tomorrow night where we do the cleanup, because this is so important that I don't want to lose anybody. So we're going to break it into 2 parts. We've done the first part tonight. Tomorrow night will be this entire cleanup, and I will dissect it like you've never seen. And I also want people to ask questions on anything that needs to be cleared up on, or that is confusing or whatnot. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. I'll monitor that, and then we'll go live tomorrow and do the entire cleanup. So that way it's just not too long, because I don't want to make this thing like a 6-hour webinar type of thing, like at all. Okay, so we're gonna get to some of these to the super chats real quick. Blake, spot on. Your video content and investigative journalism is in the stratosphere compared to anyone else. Well, thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Look, I have been screaming at the top of my lungs, I feel like, metaphorically, on X, pretty much primarily. And I have a unique perspective, because I've communicated with a lot of these people that have been the driving force or the driving narrative on what they put out, basically, to their millions and millions of followers, that have basically, it's been driving the conversation. And there's been things probably starting in October that just, it's been weird to me. It's been weird. It's been weird. Not adding up. Are we hot? Are we cold? Are we this? Are we that? Like, is it this, that? And then, like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I still don't know, but I know what kind of conversations we've had. So I appreciate your comment, your super chat. I am doing this because no one else is. Plain and simple. No one else is. If this would have been like a JFK thing where you get it one time on the nightly news and you're like, I mean, you better be watching because you're only going to get this a few times. And then after that, it's whatever you heard, you hear at the barbershop, at the hair salon, at church, at the drive-in. I mean, that's what takes hold. Well, that was back then. Guess what, y'all? It's 2025. And you can be asking for video from halfway across the world and get it. And you can actually do some really good investigative work from anywhere on the planet as long as you've got an internet connection and know what to do, know how to find people and talk to people and ask for things. That's what this is. So I appreciate it. There's still more out, because if there's one thing I've learned, it's that you're not going to get someone's attention right off the bat with this. It's not like you're going to show one of these massive accounts all of this stuff. Like, this will go nowhere. Okay, just so you know, like, if you're on X right now and you're like, ooh, I'm going to tag Candace, I'm going to tag Ian, I'm going to tag the FBI. No, they don't give a fuck. Okay, so don't. I'm saving you the keystrokes. They don't care. Okay, they don't care. They know about this and they don't care. Like, go and listen to Diligent Space from yesterday. Like, he's going to ask his little Grok, hey, Grok buddy, tell me what you think about Blake's analysis on the exploding microphone and that Brian Harpo has something in his pocket. And then his little Grok friend is going to be like, oh, I think Blake is fucking crazy. And not really, but it's basically that. Like, while it's intriguing, it's just so unplausible, you know? And then they start citing, AI does, the narrative. Okay. So the problem is, this is the best point for why humans are still superior than someone that just is all AI and like, oh, let me see what AI is. I mean, I'm not saying AI is wonderful. AI can do crazy math equations for you that, I mean, it's awesome. I mean, AI figured out all the timestamps and stuff and all of that, like calculating backwards and forwards. I mean, literally, you just have to type it in and it tells you. You don't have to do any math. But what AI can't do is what we're doing right here with our human critical thinking brain. And we're looking at what we saw with the things in the pocket. We're looking at what we saw with the audio, with their body language. And I don't give a fuck what kind of Grok number you have. If you've got Grok 1 billion, I don't give a fuck. It doesn't beat this human critical thinking brain, because we all see it. We all can see the way they're looking at each other. I mean, then we can like go back and look at past events and we can be like, oh, that's weird. None of this was happening on another event. I mean, no. This was the anomaly. This was the exception. This was not the rule for Integrity Security Solutions and their extra guys, whoever those extra 4 or 5 were. Okay. So I appreciate your super chat. And I just want y'all to know that you got someone in the corner of fighting for literal truth. I'm not some weird account that's like, oh, who are they compromised by or this or that? Like, no, I mean, I'm calling it out. This is what it is. You're seeing it with your own eyes. I'm just pointing it out, where to look and what happened. Okay. So it is what it is. And like I said, I wish it was not true, but it is. Thank you for the refocus, Ashley. You've done great work. Appreciate that. Thank you for that. My Moon and Star Gallery. Thank you. Thank you. McClintock pics show Harpole radio on his left hip. You're right. That's where the radio is. The radio's not running a wave or a maze all through his body and outside over here on the outside of the pocket. And I mean, if it is the radio, they all were radioed up. No one else was acting anything like they had the controller to an explosive on their body except Brian. No other people were doing anything. The guys in the front, they all had earpieces in. They're all listening. Brian's the only one doing the weird shit that's being called over and twisting things and squeezing things. Okay. So it is what it is. The black dude besides Terrell is suspect too. Need to identify him and ask him what the fuck happened. Okay. That is a team. That is an AV team, and they have worked together. They're on Instagram. I forget what it is, what their page is, but you can just go to Philip's page and see other things he's tagged in, especially on Instagram, and you can see them. Like, Philip was who put the microphone on Charlie. Okay. The mic is what appears to launch from clavicle to clavicle and then discharge into his neck. Okay. We really look, I operate under the pretense that they all knew what was going on. Okay. But this is how you do it. I was laying in bed watching the Today Show this morning, and there was a true crime thing. They were talking about something with a baby mama and an au pair murder type of thing. Okay, it was on it was in the first hour of the Today Show this morning, and it hit me like 1,000 bricks because it's what I've been singing. But they literally were talking about like, who's the TRL guy? The dude that did TRL. I just went blank on his name. That's how Carson Daly. They're like talking about it, and they're like, you have to roll. Like, how are they going to prove this, prove that? And one of the hosts were like, you have to roll the little guy or roll someone, and then that person starts to sing to the other person when you dangle like a big prison sentence over their head. That's what has to be done here, y'all. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but all of this has been macro for the most part. Oh, it's this country over here. It's this country here. It's because of this. Like, all of these big, grandiose ideas that literally are never going to yield anything fruitful when it comes to this investigation, because the possibilities are endless. You're never going to prove anything when you're focused on another country or company or something of that nature. You're never going to prove a thing. I don't care what space host you like listening to and how strong opinions there are on we're here being incredible citizen journalists. No, if you're really a citizen journalist, you're going to start small, and you're going to look at all the nuanced things that were happening around the venue that day, like what we just did here. Okay? You're not looking off on this other stuff and be like, okay, we're going to figure out a way to tie this all back down to UVU. No, it'll never get tied back to UVU with that approach. Never. That might be the point. I don't know. Okay. So who would I roll? Terrell Farnsworth, Philip Goldsberry, and of course, I would be looking at Brian Harpole. Brian Smart, they've got all these other things going on with, the decoys and distractions and stuff. I mean, it's on video. There's other video too. So that is what it is. But I would go right at Terrell Farnsworth. And I'll show you why. It's no secret. He's SD card. He's the guy who flat out broke the law before our eyes, taking the SD cards. I don't give a shit if they're his or not. That's who should be arrested, who should have been arrested immediately for tampering and obstruction under Utah State Penal Code, period. It's a felony, okay? He did it because he was told to. So you go dangle a couple of felonies in front of his face where he's going to be looking at doing 20 years, overlooking some beautiful mountain range in Utah, and I guarantee you he'll pucker. I guarantee you he'll pucker up. And he will sing like the most beautiful songbird you could have ever imagined. And that's all you need. But see, that would take law enforcement who gives a fuck and a district attorney who gives a fuck, but they don't. They don't. All they care about is towing the line, carrying the water, and somehow wiggling themselves out of this fiasco of biblical proportions. Terrell's who I'd start with, and I'll show you why tomorrow, okay? But thank you for the super chat. Let's not forget, Hunter says his brother was in a school shooting. I've yet to confirm, but it was a school. But was it a school in the city that Rob McCoy was a mayor of? I don't know. Look, I don't know the backstories really. I've heard stuff with Hunter Kozak. Look, it is plain as day what he's doing. He's practicing. He's signaling. It is what it is. And I'll show you tomorrow whenever Butch Hibbs becomes front and center to this whole thing, this whole cover-up, that Butch Hibbs, this old Santa Claus looking like he's literally, he is Santa's second cousin who works up at the North Pole, who does absolutely jack shit around the toy factory, is who Butch Hibbs is. And he just escapes during the summertime to go down to Utah and fuck around fly fishing and stuff. But that is Butch Hibbs. Like, there's no reason for Santa's second cousin to be running the cover up. We'll get through it tomorrow, okay? I don't know about this with his family. I've heard stuff, but there's no denying that Hunter signaled that the question's next. Google, thanks for your super chat, Frank. Google carotid artery rupture from electrocution and necklace. Original plan was electrocution from a wired mic and exploding mic to be a chest wound, and ruptured artery was foreseen. Could be. This is where I believe we, and what I mean I'm talking the collective us out here that are fighting for the truth, where getting pigeoned in to like something so just, it's really, it's really just uncalled for. We don't need it. We just need to, number one, we all know that the 30-06 story falls flat on its face. And whenever Tyler's defense attorney gets the footage, the full footage from the roof to where we can see where Governor Cox is talking about the change of clothes and how he went over and hid for a few minutes, changed clothes, and then ran up within a minute to that ledge that has no ledge, and he hangs out over at the right moment. He hangs out over the ledge with no bipod, no tripod, out of breath, like to take the. We're going to see where that just literally is completely absent. Okay, that's why they trimmed the video. So we know that the 30-06 narrative is complete and utter bullshit. So when it comes to this other stuff, it just goes to, we know Stumpin was on Brian's body. He's turning it. It has to do with the audio. That's never, ever happened before on any other stuff. He's got something right here under his shirt. He squeezes it right at the moment. Something goes crazy underneath Charlie's shirt. And then start putting cuffs on people, right? And have them singing. Because there's no bullet, right? There's no bullet. So it could be, I do know this. Those two cameras that Terrell stole, he didn't steal because they're in theory his SD cards. But at the moment, I found some web results. Hey Siri, turn off all of my Siri. Sorry about that, y'all. At the moment the bomb goes off under Charlie's shirt, I don't care what is yours. You do not have a right to go and get the SD cards that recorded this heinous crime because, oh, people can be mean and they're mine. No. If any of you people out in regular world have a party or are a party or witness, or you're like, you deliberately try to conceal something where like there's a murder that's taken place, right? And you like go and let's say it's like your car and your car's the crime scene. And you're like, oh, golly gee, I didn't have anything to do with this, but it's my car and the cops aren't here to show me a warrant, so I'm just going to drive it home. You are going to get arrested. That's tampering, that's obstruction. You can't just do whatever the hell you want when a heinous murder, or at this point, I think it's like an aggravated assault with a deadly type of thing. I don't think Charlie's dead. He might have died on impact, but I don't think so. But you don't just get to do that. Okay? So we'll go through all of that. I'm just letting you know if this ever comes up for any of you people and you're like, oh, I remember what Terrell did and Terrell got away. No, your ass will either catch another charge or you'll catch a charge or charges for at the minimum obstruction, tampering, and other things. I mean, it's crazy. Only in Utah. But hey, he does have a mountain named after him. He does. That must pull something. Having a mountain. I'm going to go climb Mount Farnsworth this weekend. That sounds like a fucking blast. Charlie has a monitor at his feet to hear. That's why he can't put the wired mic at the edge of the table. It has to go. No. He doesn't do that at any other period of time other than when the device is armed by Brian as Hunter starts to talk. Go back and watch it again. Everything's fine until that moment. Thank you for your super chat, Jordan. I agree with you 100%. I wanted to know what all the broken glass was all over the SUV, what the seat was from. Jordan Henshaw had a photo, and it is in a huge pile on the seat. Any thoughts to what could have happened? I do not know. that photo was released by, I believe, Candace. And then I believe Barron highlighted it on his show. I'll just say this. There was definitely black things falling right underneath Charlie and shooting off of his body. Okay. That is just plain as day, black and white, and explosive, and something's exploding out. Okay. I do not know just all of the things with what was seen in the SUV, those pieces. It could be the microphone. I mean, by all intents and purposes, I mean, there was something that exploded, and it makes sense where you've got all this now, like the pile of stuff that was in the SUV. Yeah, I mean, it could be very plausible that it's the microphone, but we'll get into the actual as they drive away. And I've got some 911 stuff or dispatch where they're talking about the guys driving. I've got it. Like it can get, I'll get really in depth on it. But bottom line is it was an explosion. I mean, it was an explosion. And there's really no way they can talk themselves out of it, because if you're looking for a shooter, you're going to be looking for a long time, because there was not a shooter in the crowd at all that day. Let's see. This is a silly thing. Can you suggest what the yellow liquid is in the water bottles carried in the back of their pockets, assuming it's electrolytes? Yeah. Thank you for your super chat too. I tend to think so as well. It was hot that day. They're on their feet. They all have that same stuff. I would assume it is the same stuff as well. So yeah, nothing really too suspect on that, other than it is those just packets of electrolytes. Mr. Turpin, thank you. Adam Bartholomew video, go to 410, door open, then at 3354, door closed. We will get into that tomorrow. I will, let me screenshot it. I will address this tomorrow, since we didn't get into the Adam Bartholomew video, but I'll make sure and address that. Thank you for your super chat. Fourth time was a fail. Thank you for your super chat. Ivan is Ivan, $10. JFK, RFK, I'm okay, and all pre-tech, yes. Charlie Kirk, way too many cameras. Internet detectives, great work, brother. Spot on. Remain happy and head on a swivel. Indeed, we are watching the 6-2, and my boys. I'm lucky to be surrounded by great people and great friends that are every bit, if not better, operators than the security team. They're all, but I'm blessed. I'm lucky, and plain was parents. Yeah, unfortunately, there's not a lot that rhymes with North Texas, but I enjoy North Dallas. Let's see here. Is the guy at the end that you're looking for same old guy to the left of the same wall? Same guy to the left of the tent. Butch Hibbs. Yeah, we'll get into Butch. Butch will be talked about tomorrow big time. Trust me. Thank you for your super chat. Blake, keep steady. They may have money and influence. Unfortunately, Tyler is the alive victim whose life hangs in the balance. EK is fine with one evil. Hope a lawyer sees it. Well, they're going to be tagged and sent, and they won't be able to say they didn't know about this. Let's put it that way. I'm shocked he's still incarcerated like that. I guess no one up there in Utah, I mean, no one's asking these questions. Just it blows my mind. Actually, it doesn't. It's not surprising. If Mintz, maybe Object Hibbs had in his shirt pocket. Okay. Thank you for your super chat. So Baron Coleman did, and he and I talked about this on a call a few weeks ago before Christmas. And we were talking about what's in Butch's front pocket. And it does fit the dimensions for the Rode to microphone. It does. But when we examine what Philip has in his hand, when we examine what is seen under Charlie's shirt, that's a monster. That is something just obnoxiously big underneath Charlie's shirt. So I tend to lean towards Butch does not have a microphone in his pocket, and it's not like it serves no purpose for Butch Hibbs to have that. Just like it serves no purpose for a few weeks ago when a lot of people were talking about FaceTime Frank, like watching a drone feed, when it's just the reflection of the iPhone. It's just a reflection. Like you're literally like seeing the reflection, and like, look at what just one tiny little move can alter the reflection of his off phone. Frank is just standing there doing all this shit like, oh, that's a good fucking point. Like he does that. Like, oh, he really answered that Mormon question good. No, it's all fake. Because he's filling a role. He's just there to like be like, damn, that motherfucker really getting into it. Like, damn, he must be FaceTiming somebody important. I wonder if he's FaceTiming Erica. Like, no, there ain't nobody there. And he damn sure, that tripped me out. I'm like, I got a window right here. It's like, damn, who's out there? You damn sure are not going to let Frank Turek have anything to do with your operation on pulling this off. Okay? Stop it. Stop it. Go back and watch all of his interviews. If Frank is talking, he's digging. You're not going to have Frank where there's people right here videoing. I mean, can you imagine? You're one of the people right there. Like, I know one of the dudes. I've been in communication with him. Can you imagine like seeing FaceTime Frank and like there's like a drone feed? I mean, think about this logically. Hang on. Why is this old fart carrying on like he's FaceTiming somebody, but he's really looking at a drone feed of all of us? That's weird. Think about it. It's so stupid. I can't even believe it took a hold anywhere. Like, think about it. So then you're like, okay, who are all these people working for? Because it caught on. Or who are they trying to protect? Or I know you're not really that stupid. So what is it? There's so much depth from where Frank is underneath the tunnel that he's actually getting glares from the vehicles and from people walking way back here. Like it's all the way. So Frank is right here carrying on a FaceTime, okay, or doing this, and he's carrying on all this monstrosity of stuff, just a show. But here's the Hall of Flags up here, okay? He sees all through there. your phone, if you've got that much depth way back there, a tiny, tiny little fractional move of the phone screen, it's going to show all sorts of stuff back here. It's going to look crazy. Okay. It just is. It's going to be different versus if your phone is off and you're just looking right here, like you're this close, you can turn the phone a little bit and it's not crazy. Like you're still seeing a reflection, but it's not like if you're looking 100 feet back or 50 feet back with a clear blue summer day and people are picking this up on the phone. Okay. It is ridiculous. It's ridiculous to think that anybody in their right mind, especially on something this sensitive, where the stakes, there's zero room for error. There's zero room for any sort of slip up. And to think that you're going to be like, well, Timmy, I guess we can pick Frank to be the guy that's going to be watching the drones. Think about it. Go look at yourself in the mirror if you're one of these drone people and just ask yourself, what the fuck purpose is Frank Turek looking at a drone feed, carrying on like a freaking idiot doing? It makes no sense. And no, they're not like triangulating all of this shit. Like, oh, there's all these people around in the crowd and they're like triangulating all this stuff and all that. No. Whoever that was that put that out, they're like the little mosquito over here. Okay. Like, hey, come over here. It's like, it's warm over here. This light, it's beautiful. You'll love it. You don't want to go suck the blood out of that fat ass. Come over here. And then there's people who are like, oh, damn. That light does look good. That's literally what's happening. Okay. With all of these crazy, crazy stories. Think about it. It's not that complicated. It's right here in front of our faces. We don't even have to pretend we're seeing, like, we see it. It's in his pocket. He squeezes it. Okay. Plain and simple. Anyways, this was fun. I'm glad this is my style, how I like to do it, how I like to present it. And I can do it this way because this is my channel. So this will be the spot. Tell your friends, tell your homies, repost it on X. If you're somewhere and this is not being talked about in a space, especially for people that are like, ooh, we just got to find out what happened to Charlie. You know, I'm here for the truth like this. And they're not willing to talk about the stuff that's flat out on camera that we all see. They're not willing to go there. You really, really, really need to start ask yourself, like, what's really going on here? Okay. Like what's why? If this would have come out, I was trying to think what would have been the effect on this. If this would have come out in September, late September or early October, where we wouldn't have been so inundated with the explosion under his shirt. And like, we're sitting here looking at all this other stuff, like, you know, hey, Dan, and then the thing in his pocket. And then if we would have done this in October, I was like, what would have happened? And I don't know. I really don't, because you have to think, we've been through 4 months of just a lot of stuff. We've chased airplanes. We've chased Toyotas. It's been the French. We've done New Hampshire. I think it's New Hampshire. Or no, Delaware. Then the Macrons. Then Egypt. And then meetings in Tennessee, and then Fort Huachuca now. And look, it's a lot. It's a lot. So it makes me wonder what would have happened back in early October if it would have just been like, you know, a running back hitting the hole and just taking off for the goal line instead of all of this where it's gotten crazy with some of these things and people are like, when you start to think about it on that level, like it's effective on that the human brain can only take so much. And that's unfortunate, but good thing I'm a runner and I'm a distance runner. So I can go and I'm going to go. I hope you'll go with me and we will uncover all of this and it's here cemented. As long as it's on YouTube. So thank you for your time tonight. Thank you for your super chats. Thank you for your chats. I'll run through, I'll look at it. Tune in tomorrow. I'll put up a graphic tomorrow and we'll go at it on the cover up. And it will tie off this kind of 2-video series here. So other than that, I wish you all a wonderful evening and thank you for kicking it with me. See ya.